for you! Welcome back, I'm Captain Xavier, and I am a shameless fan of getting free stuff. I'm also a shameless fan of gizmos, and this was a free gizmo, so bonus points. I was sent a remote control vehicle thingy. They sent me this, asked if I wanted to review it, and I've been wanting to get some kind of a remote control MacGuffin for a while now, so this was a great excuse to finally get my hands on one. And it looks nifty. So, yeah, it is the Viper. Double morphological fury stunt action. Well, look, a manual. Chargeable battery, double edge for the controller, does stuff, ammo MacGuffin. Let's do this thing. Batteries. The good news is the controller has a blinky light, so presumably that means I need to plug in the MacGuffin. All right. Well, comes with a screwdriver, so you can open it up. Right there. Comes with a rechargeable battery. Nickel cadmium, apparently. 700 milliamp. 4.8 volts. What's an arbitrary series of numbers? And a USB charging cable. I don't know if it comes charged. We're gonna find out. Warning! Converting the car with remote control only. Don't try bending this on your own, apparently. Alright. Okay. Well, apparently if we push this button, I have it upside down. And backwards. I meant to do that. So this is apparently very much designed for large open spaces, which I'm not currently in. I'm currently in my shop because it's currently nighttime, because I had other stuff to do today, but they really wanted this review out. Alright, so let's go over the features before we tootle it around the shop and see how controllable it is. We've got a button right here, which causes it to do that. And I'm not sure why it does that, but it does. Now, then there's a dial right here, which allows you to tune it so that it's actually straight when it is transformed, but it doesn't seem to... it looks like it's only right in one position or the other. So if you're going to convert it, you have to retrim it. But it's easy enough to retrim. You've then got forward, backward, or backward, forward, depending on how you prefer to have it. It's omnidirectional. You can switch it around, and now it's forward, backward, forward, backward. Generally, pulling the trigger would feel more natural to be forward. But at the same time, you can also go pushing forward makes it go forward, pulling back makes it go back, you know, whatever you prefer. And this controls turning. It does recenter itself. So when you let go, it recenters, so that's nice. And that's also a matter of which way is left and which way is right is a matter of preference, I suppose. Off switch on here, off switch on there. This actually tells you which is on and off. This one doesn't, and I don't see any indication, like any indicator other than that it does that when you turn it on. Let's cruise around the shop. Yeah, jeez. No, stop it. I've been flipped over. Luckily, you can do that if that happens. I see the advantage. But I believe my battery's run out. So, yeah! This is kind of fun. I like it. I'll put that charger back on, or the battery back in the charger before I kill it. Alright, so what are my thoughts on it from having played with it for a couple of minutes? I will give it, of course, a lot more testing when I have the opportunity outdoors, and of course I will try some interesting things. Yes, naturally I'm going to try to weaponize it, either mount a claymore to it, or a remote blaster to it, or something to make it fire Nerf of some description, because of course I am. I have a couple of thoughts. I don't know if it's big enough to support like a speed swarm. It would definitely support one of the landmines if you mounted it maybe that way. I don't know. I'm not sure what would happen when you tried to fire that or how that would deal with it. I think it's a low enough, when it's in this configuration, it would be low enough that it would probably be able to support that in some manner if you made a mounting for it. That would certainly be fun, to drive that towards the enemy and then set it off. Or, like I said, a speed swarm or a power bell. Those are small enough. They might be able to, if you minimized it so it was just the firing mechanism. Maybe a swarm fire if you minimized it. That's getting a little bit bigger. And this might not be able to support that, but a speed swarm, I think it really could. You then have to obviously add your own remote detonator, but I've already done that on one of mine. I know it can be done, so that wouldn't be too difficult. It seems decent quality as far as the plastic goes. I drove it off my workbench, and it didn't seem to do it any terrible harm. The centering, when it switches from one form to the other and then you having to retrim it, is a little bit odd. And if you don't trim it just right, then as you can see, it's not quite centered, but it's easy enough to adjust that, I suppose. There may be some way to tune it. I didn't notice anything in the instructions, and I'm leery of popping it open, but they do send you the screwdriver, so if you wanted to open it all up and possibly mess with the internals, you can. I don't know how long that battery will last. I'm going to let it charge for a goodly while and see what kind of a charger will hold. But yeah, I kind of like it. I'm going to have fun with it. Definitely going to see about weaponizing it and seeing what I can do with that. They're $32 and they provided a 30% off coupon, so they're not terribly expensive. And it does seem to be very fast. That I liked, which was a problem here. Obviously, outdoors you would be able to go over do some neat tricks with it. And as I said, the neat thing about the design is that if it flips over entirely, it'll still work. You may have to retrim it when if you do a flip and it gets slightly cattywampus, but that is neat. If you have it in obviously the higher position, I'm not sure why you ever would. Maybe it would have more clearance that way, obviously, but then it's prone to flipping over. But you can simply push the button and have it go back to this position. So I think it's a neat design. Very minimalist. It's not meant to look like any kind of particular car, and obviously thus much more modifiable for my purposes. I'll have to see what all is in this chassis and what I can do about, screwing in mounts or gluing on mounts or things like that, so I can mount a blaster of some kind on there. If nothing else, if it turns out it simply cannot take the stress or the weight or the imbalance of having a blaster mounted to it, I can definitely mount a GoPro to it and Bluetooth that to my phone and have a recon drone, which would be neat in a lot of applications. So, yeah, definitely. I'm glad that I got this. I'm going to have fun with it. There will be tinkering and silliness. So stay tuned for that. So, thank you for sending me this. I will have all the links down in the description along with the coupon code, and thank you for watching.